I used to go to Butler for vacation, right? Elizabeth used to come to Akron for vacation. And I belonged to the leading young Jewish club in Akron called the Maccabees. And these were all the top kids, top Jewish kids in the city. And we would have dances and stuff where we go in groups, the group of girls. A lot of the guys married the girls. I married a different girl. But the deal is, I used to always take Elizabeth to these
She was your date?
to the parties. She wouldn't be my date, but I would introduce her to the other guys for them to date her.
Yeah.
So that's the way that was.
How did she marry? How did she meet my father?
Sam?
Yeah.
Well, somebody introduced Elizabeth to Sam Lieberman, and I knew that he was from Columbus. And then when they got married, we got closer. One thing about Sam was he always knew where you stood with him. He was a pretty stern individual.
Really? Tell me about it.
Yeah. And in fact, there were some things that, like your father was, or Uncle Shai, was always very good to the kids. And like if he would buy a TV set for himself, he bought one for the kids that were married. He'd buy 3. Or a wash machine. There was a deal with a wash machine once where he bought 2 or 3 wash machines. He could do it and he loved it. And Sam got upset that his mother didn't have these things. She had to do things by hand and stuff. That Elizabeth should be able to do that too. And Uncle Shai said, Elizabeth doesn't have to. You know, he'd stand up for her. And your dad he had the big Hudson, and he had that his original Chrysler 66, which they painted red and called it Clarabelle. And that's the one that I learned how to drive on.
Oh,
and
really?
for a high school graduation, he gave me that car as a gift.
Who gave it to you?
Uncle Shai.
Oh, he did.
He gave me that car as a gift, a high school graduation gift. And I said, that's too much. He said, no.
Wow.
He was just a wonderful, wonderful person. And Celia too. I say they were like a mother and father.
Right.
And Elizabeth would come to Akron
And stay
frequently.
at your house.
Yeah. And if we were, even before if we were having a big deal coming on, I would tell her to come in. And we'll go together. In
And
fact,
she's-
at every reunion that we had, I would always invite Elizabeth to come in for it.
So were you as close with Auntie, with Roselle? Because she was much younger.
Roselle was younger, and Murray was sort of a hotshot kind of guy. And
Yeah.
I was more reserved than he was. He was very aggressive, and he got in trouble too. So, didn't he go to prison? I think.
Yes.
I thought that they did, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And that wasn't Uncle Shai's style.
Right. Well, thank you very much. You gave me lots to think about and information I didn't have before.
I wanted to tell you some more about their parents. Uncle Shai's and my mother's parents.
Okay, and their names were,
I don't know what their first names were,
what was
but
their
their last name was Abus.
Okay.
But
And they came from where?
they came from a place called Bialystok,
Okay.
and that was changed hands between Russia and Poland. And Bialystok became a major battleground in World War II.
Did it have
And-
a large Jewish population there?
They had the big Jewish, that's where the big Jewish population. And the deal was, their father was died in a snowstorm. He was going from village to village. That's the way they announced the holidays. That's why the Orthodox have 2 days. They weren't sure which day. So they make it 2 days to be sure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like Doug, tomorrow, Doug is going to the shul because he's hooked on the shul. Doug taught himself Hebrew and everything. He just made a chauffeur. But I think it's great. The guys who have done keep the Jews going anyway.
When did he become so religious?
Well, Doug is very knowledgeable, I'll put it that way. And he has read every religious book. He has read the Quran. He's read the New Testament, the Old Testament. He's now studying the Talmud, all about the Talmud. And he just loves that old ritual.
Well, we'll see it in the next book.
What's that?
We'll see all this information in the next book, incorporated into his next book.
I don't know that he incorporated in his book, because the book that's coming out in January, he probably has 2 or 3 books on the desk that he doesn't tell you about. Because he always works like on 2, 3 at a time.
Really?
And I asked him, I said, Doug, how can you work on 2, 3 books? He says, first of all, you have a story in your head, and then you pick your characters. And then he does this and he does that. But he said, I work on one, and if I get a little sluggish, I sit it down, I go to the other one and try to think it through. And he works all night. He works till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Sharon,
Yes.
you have to stop now.
Okay.
Sid's tired, he's been around all
Okay.
day.
Well,
It's
I already said thank you, and he's the one who wanted to go on.
I know, when she getting started,
Okay.
I know. But are you
Well,
at the
thank
end
you.
now? Can you quit? Do you have one more thing
Yes.
to say on it, goodbye or
No,
anything, or
he's
just?
done.
Okay.
What, a tape?
No, not
No.
anymore.